In a time when Israel was oppressed by the Philistines, God raised up a man named Samson, a Nazarite from birth, set apart to deliver his people. His strength was legendary, a gift from God, tied to a vow that included never cutting his hair. But even the strongest among us can fail, not just from physical weakness, but also from misplaced trust. The book of Judges chapter 13 tells us that Samson's birth was foretold by an angel. He was chosen before he was born, consecrated to God. His life was meant to reflect divine purpose. Yet, as he grew, Samson's choices often conflicted with his calling. He pursued what pleased his eyes, not always what honored his vow. Sometime later, he fell in love with a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. Delilah was approached by the Philistine rulers, who offered her silver to discover the secret of Samson's strength. She agreed. What followed was a tragic unraveling of trust. Delilah asked Samson repeatedly to reveal his secret. Each time, he gave her false answers. Bindings with fresh cords, new ropes, weaving his hair into a loom. Each time she betrayed him, and yet he stayed. Judges 16 verse 16 says, "With such nagging, she prodded him day after day until he was sick to death of it. Eventually, Samson gave in. He told her the truth. No razor has ever been used on my head. If my head were shaved, my strength would leave me." Judges 16 verse 17. Delilah lulled him to sleep. His hair was cut. His strength left him. The Philistines seized him, gouged out his eyes, and imprisoned him. The man once feared by nations was now blind and bound. But the story doesn't end in defeat. Judges chapter 16 verse 22 quietly notes, "But the hair on his head began to grow again after it had been shaved." In his final moments, Samson prayed, "Sovereign Lord, remember me. Please, God, strengthen me just once more." Judges chapter 16 verse 28. He pulled down the pillars of the Philistine temple, collapsing it upon himself and his enemies. Judges chapter 16 verse 30 records, "Samson killed many more when he died than while he lived." Even in death, he served his divine mission. Samson's story is not just about physical strength. It's about spiritual vulnerability. We live in a world full of Delilahs, temptations that whisper, "Just tell me your secret." Like Samson, we may find ourselves compromising slowly until we wake up and realize our strength is gone. But even then, God is not finished. Even in blindness, even in chains, Samson turned back to God, and God answered. Let this story remind us to guard our calling, to not trade divine purpose for fleeting pleasure, and finally, when we fall, to return. Even when we fail, God is not finished. Even in blindness, even in chains, He hears us, He restores us, and He redeems us. Feel free to share your thoughts or questions about the story in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more biblical stories and reflections.